This is the JR-203 series, but right beside of them, there must be a little bit noise coming from the new, changed of remodeled JR-203 series, which means this is not going to be main 2 for this over here. But right here, this is the old version of the JR-203 series, but I don't believe it. This is not going to be for such as one thing. Unless, I'm not should be able to do for some kind of using it as a camera. The camera mode isn't going to be working as well. It's probably still unplayable for this, but even that you look at the trains, we'll see why that must be for some kind of JR-203 series. But I'm unable to look at these trains as probably that I just find it out over here. So you definitely seen this from Japan. You definitely probably remember like those 3 trains for this one thing. The service transit trains, which is completely worked as of some kind of like language over here. Even for some sort of multiple languages as well, which means the lines could be actually like even this as well. Another one is actually for another one, which means is another logo change for some kind of like for unknown this. And this is the memorial train, which is the 203 series legacy train edition, which is not that even that like this as well. So this train is even look more standard, but turns out it's not gonna be definitely seeing this. But I honestly, if you're definitely seeing these trains, you're definitely going to be seeing like whenever it goes, because of some of the 3 trains, and right next to them is could be for right here. If you're definitely seeing this on Indonesia, I have definitely that I wasn't able to be trying to find out what able to be able to cost for around here. This is the train that I just eventually don't like, and which is absolutely very immigrational as hell for it to do this. If you are wondering seeing this, that definitely giving me a bad decision. This is the KRL 203 series, and this is not going to be actually making that sense to do this as well, that the stripes look like the Victory Liner reference. That something is absolutely for being imported to Indonesia, and which is not I never expected around here for this immigrational transport as well. Let's see right here into for some sort of the dashboard into the plot controls as anything as well. As you can see, that must be a JR-203 series. But sometimes that changes anything to some kind of words that the company sees like anything as well. That was a suggestion to be removed like anything as well. It must be for the JR-203 series, and that wasn't kind of like anything for around here. And now that they changed into companies like the Amtrain, anything like those things, and especially the original of the company that says Amtrak, and not anything for just the J and R for like this. But now that changes to J and T, which means could be for even like those things whenever to do like anything as well for like to do this as well. So it must be called around here is the JR West like those things. It's not gonna be the colors like for any about for this. This could be for the JR East trains like the Tokyo Transit and anything it goes throughout like those things for probably like itself. This is absolutely for just only one last thing as well. The memorial trains like the legacy one could be like the 203 series whatsoever before something is eventually exported somewhere all over to Indonesia that changes to this. If that is saying K at the beginning of the word, that changes to C as the KAI, which stands for Karen Agnomination International Intercity Transit. The intercity transit like this could be for one thing as well, nothing from the Indonesia. But don't say KAI whatsoever that you're never able to be seeing this. But whenever you do, we don't absolutely going to be viewing this. But I guess let's just do a crossovers within the train. The train's got 30,000 horsepower, which is eventually going to be using some of the JR Transit like those things as well. So we are not able to be matching up for to do this as well. And because of that, despite this, the trains isn't going to be much like the diesels. It shouldn't able to be put it around here for somewhere. And as you can see, it definitely couples it already. And another one should be able to be put right over here. So the old 203 series isn't going to be the place to be. So we're not able to be putting for some like the P coaches or some kind of Ohio coaches like whatsoever. So what you ever to do should be mix colors with the KRL, but I'm gonna do it, which means I can. Let's see that they just gonna be added here from over here for some sort of like this, the KRL series like this one, and I definitely did it, and I dropped that thing from over here. And finally, for some kind of the dome car, it's not whatever that is going to be look like, but I definitely started to hear some kind of rain outside over here, out of my side around here as well. So it's probably definitely outside of my computer, but it's definitely is not according with that weather before like this. We have changed some kind of colors like this, and we should be able to be putting around as well. Now we're gonna be starting with the letter K, which means is about that was. As I scroll down, it's not going to be the King's Way like this, as I'll be scroll down, and that must be some kind of newer coaches, like even for this one. And therefore, that must be for the KRL, it's not for some kind of coaches as well. It was a transport unit. Could be even for some kind of rapid transit units like this. I don't really think I should might able to crash the game, which means this is getting even a little bit some sort of trouble over here, which means I definitely not gonna be possible to do. But another one in this place that I just matched up for some kind of a little bit amount of service, but we won't able to do for such as a little bit much as well. So I won't able to be put in the route itself for some kind of the Asian coaches as well. We don't, whenever that we try to see this, is definitely more weirder, and I have just turned into something really bizarre. So we just remixed some colors and nothing anyways to do like anything for something like that. The worst of all, if you're seeing this blue rapid transit thing, you might never able to guess it around here anyways. This is something is much more immigrational as well, and the blue and orange stripes could be something one of the most racist transits ever as well. Which means including the KAI train as the KRL, which means this is something as a racist trains. The non-racist trains could be for around as the JR transit trains. But right here, and because if it says PNR, which means it's one of the most racist transits ever, that you never seen this for this entire life. Whenever that it seems like it's make any sense like anything as well. Nothing could make any sense around here for during this 2010s, like whenever that we try to see this as well. We're not using for some kind of for a small GE diesel trains, whatever that doesn't gonna be able to make any some kind of for unknown sense to do this. But whenever that's seeing some kind of small things, whenever that is actually look like. So, if we're gonna be going to have a test run between the 4 trains, but I guess this is absolutely for leaving no choice around here. The old 203 series have just absolutely going to be doing for a comparison, just absolutely doing like this whenever it does, like the coaches or even other kinds of stuff. Now, let's just add that a Metroliner transit isn't going to be for exactly as real for some sort of like this. The Metroliner doesn't gonna be make anything as well in case things are might gonna crash my computer anyways. So let's just give ourselves to find a closer look at the for some sort of like this. There were the 70th anniversary about the train, 76th anniversary, one thing overall for some sort of like this. I might gonna be find something else a little bit random as the PRR Metroliner. Yep, this is actually going to be for Metroliner as well. I'm not gonna be doing this like anything as well. For this like this, I'm not very sure. The PRR isn't gonna be supposed to be. This is pretty hard to find that for some kind of a rail car, which means is exactly as the Pennsylvania Railroad, which is actually as well for some kind of like this. I just ran out of ideas to find something as a Metroliner, which means this is not going to be similar to the Amfleets as well. So this is not actually for a singular coach, so just put in an Amfleet right over this spot because it was eventually longer than something else what I just try to find out. So we're gonna spawn for some sort of like those. We're gonna spawn the Metroliner anyways. So this is actually going to be for even this one. Maybe this one, I guess? I'm just gonna be spawning a Metroliner. How does it not going to be feeling away for just one thing? So it's just taking time to spawn something, whatever that I just gotta be trying to say this. So I'm just gonna be respawning again, and let's see the full comparison for like those things. Eventually, I'm still speechless at about for this a little bit of moment as well, as you'll be seeing there. And we're ready for like this. I'm not very sure. We're ready for testing within those horns. When we absolutely gonna be trying to find out what I just determined to hear this horns as well, because why are the numbers are probably invalid like those things, as the numbers could be for like these, isn't going to be supposed to be as well. So in the previous video, we just definitely hearing for a single horn, but then in a few videos ago, which that horn is absolutely a little bit louder than the single ones as possible. And because of that big GE old small locomotive, which is, sounds even terrible, that I'm not going to be actually what I just gotta say like this. They have put in around for 30,000 horsepower, as you'll be seeing this from their trains, as I might gonna be releasing a loco for some kind of a little bit possible that I just eventually to see this. So I'm gonna be picking up for a number of the train, which is not that working anyways. It can't able to get that work easily as well, so it's not that fine. Anyways, I'm not gonna be turning that off like anyways to do this as well. It still actually works, but we actually try to see some of the names. That the number 3, I can't able to pick that locomotive as well, so let's find absolutely the number 3. Oh damn, it must be it is for some sort of like this. The DCC programmer isn't going to be for just like this. I wouldn't able to be taking a long time to do this as well. As you can see this, 30,000 horsepower about the locomotive. And the other hand of the locomotive is also the same as this, and it's more powerful than the JR203 series about this old model. It's absolutely 7200 horsepower. I gotta release the loco as well. So anyways, let's try to hear for some sort of like this. But anyways, we're gonna be determined the train horns is gonna be for whatsoever that is trying to do this as well. I'll be staying right behind of the path as we're gonna be started with this thing as well. So we might able to be saying all aboard for to do this, but I'm gonna be keeping anything about for this, everything delayed as well. So doing this for over 15 minutes about of this video won't be so necessary as for over 15 minutes in time, but now it goes for around for some sort of a Penn Central train or some kind of like this thing as well. So let's just probably hear it out, shall we? So the first one is absolutely really that loud, and which is not even possible that is not currently to do this, what I just going to say. So this old horn like those things could be sound like the single one. And could be for this one as well. Let's just try again for around for the fixing this issue as anyways. And that is absolutely going to be for this one. And all goes the same horn could be like anybody as well. So let's just click it around for those multiple addresses, and we're saying out loud for about for these locomotives. And that was all the locomotives that is going to be for this way. So we did not actually having for a little bit of test drive. So I'm leaving 4 of the trains, could be even for this way as well. I'm leaving for those trains like here for themselves. So as we're going to be completely picked up for the trains is number 1 and 4. There might be departing anyways for it to do this as well. And so they're off like anything about further away is going to couple something like whenever we do not going to have a race time, which means this is not going to be for that make any sense to look like any about for this thing. It won't be necessary for about here. So the locomotive is going to be even this way, which means the left side of the rails could be for around for those Indonesian locomotive like those things as well. So they weren't the same like those, even though that it just took it a little bit for so long. And even that I just going to be end of this video for this way. So let's just give ourselves a wrap up. So what do you think about swapping colors between those train variants like themselves, even though they look like it's not going to be for some sort of like this thing as well, because this could be for some sort of the same thing as I probably seeing this whatsoever. Even that's for the JR203 series, even for some sort of the KRL, it was swapping colors within the KRL and even for some sort of like the 203 series. And which is not going to be even definitely that look like bad enough as well. So even for the 78th century like this, or the 78th anniversary around for the KRL, like for the railway transit as well, even for them as well, for some kind of like to do this, it could be as of like for those trains for not even for that much as well. The couplers aren't even for safe enough as well, even though that must be for some sort of, it's not gonna be the rapid transit like them anyways. So looks like I'm have to wrap up for this video for like those things. I already said that, and it's probably like for unknown as method as well. if I'm gonna be turning on the headlights as well, so I just gonna be picking up for the number 1 locomotive, even as possible, just like Thomas, and I wouldn't believe that wouldn't be like the same as anyways. So that was it for some kind of a color swap within the 203 series trains, within the cars like themselves, or some kind of rail cars that I just never able to be speaking for us, and look like them anyways. So once again, thanks for watching, and don't forget the link is going to be in the description, and I'll talk to you all later about those mini lads and rail fanners all later as well. But don't you dare try to find this video. Could be for around the 203 series about the JR trains, and the KAI series about for some sort of for the KRL series about that train. So thanks again, and you're definitely going to be having fun within the trains. So don't you dare using for the KRL trains for this operation, which is does not a part of my rail line series as well, because of the JR transits are probably less better and less reliable, and I wouldn't believe that we just try to do some kind of operations in a commuter line. And because of and that I'm a train hater of this train, no, this is absolutely not that making magnificent like those things. This is not pretty magnificent or like magnificent as those trains as well. Because of like those things, it was still a part. It was probably the part of the rail line series, could be for around as the rail line of the commuter as well. And because of just like this, it's probably going to be stay on track. And because of this immigrational thing, this train is not gonna be one of them as well. Because this train is just not worth it as well. Because this one is not one of them. For some kind of like anything as well, for some sort of like the friends and enemies as well, for some sort of like this. But now they have dropped that thing, but this is not gonna be how fun it does not going to work anyway. So I'm going to leave the game, and I'll see you mini lads and rail fanners all later into the next video of RO-Scale Sandbox.